Smita, thank you so much for taking some time off your busy day. I understand that you're still working from home right now. Is that true?
That's absolutely true, and hate it.
And you hate it, right? You're one of those people who need to meet people and talk to people all the time.
Well, not all the time, but yes, I need humans
Yeah,
around me to function better.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I understand. It's quite fascinating to see how people, everybody reacts to being in their bubble differently, and some people really hate it. Some people are okay with it. I have to admit that I'm not a people's person like you, but even I am a little bit fed up with not seeing that many people anymore. So it's interesting. Smita, tell me where I want to start today is really just going back many years ago to when you moved to New Zealand. Obviously now you're living in Australia, but you moved to New Zealand many years ago and settled down with the family in Hamilton, haven't you?
Well, there is a long story before that.
Right.
So, very, very long story. Hamilton was my second stop. So,
Okay.
I arrived in the year 2000
Hmm.
in the middle of New Zealand winter, in June 29, 2000. Landed in Auckland with two suitcases, just two suitcases and myself, not knowing a single person.
Right.
Uh, and that was like a shock to my system. Cold like I have never. Came from June, 40 degrees to. I remember going to these interviews like frozen, and the poor woman taking mercy on me and offering me this cup of tea, which I was like, with shivering hands.
Yeah.
So yes, it was absolutely fascinating. And then I came as with an IT degree. Obviously, that was the reason I came with a PR. Obviously, but I was told, I was warned before that there may not be jobs immediately in IT. So,
Mhm.
so I did what I did. I hit the streets on the day two, wrapping myself with as many warm clothes as I could, going on the Queen Street at that stage and giving my CVs to every shop, the Burger King, I remember the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Whitcoulls,
Right.
the big Whitcoulls, which is farmers now.
Yeah.
And on the third week, I got a job in Whitcoulls. By at that time, I diluted my CV down to nothing. Uh, because all IT qualifications are gone. The reason I got the job in Bitcoins is because I had worked with I had done IT projects where there were libraries involved, so I could handle books. So that is
Mhm.
what was assumed,
Right.
and it was fascinating. Like first time in my life, I was lifting boxes and doing as such
Yeah.
manual work, which
Yeah.
was different. Anyways, every evening I was there at that time I had no computers. 2000 did not have a laptop, so I would sit in the computer cafes typing out my CV and printing it and sending it off,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. And very, very interesting. Anyways, while I was doing this, I received a call from Hamilton City Council
Mhm.
for a job in the council, and I had never heard of Hamilton. So I had not heard of Hamilton. That's it. And they said, "Oh, we're sending you a bus ticket." I said, "Wow, that's good." So on my day off, which was Friday, I used to work 40 hours, and which calls Friday was my day off. Um, I got onto this bus from Queen Street, Sky Tower.
Yeah.
And this was like exciting thing. Wow, I get to go free somewhere. And so off I went and did my interview there, and I really liked the place. I said, "Wow, this is beautiful!" Like it was very nice day, August, just coming off, early spring, and basically then off I went, and I said, "Look, you need to tell me," because I was interviewing a few places. Auckland, I had no success by that time. And by the time I went back, and I was having, and this is very, very like a pivotal moment in my life. I was having my hamburger because I was so hungry in the McDonald's in Queen Street, and I get this call. "Hey, you got this job." I said, "Wow." "And your salary is?"
Yeah.
Your salary is a princely sum of 37,500 per annum. Wow, I was blown away. I said, yes, now I can get my family back in. And basically, you know, picked up my two suitcases and they said, we'll give you conveyance. I said, moving. I said, okay, I have my two suitcases. I picked up my kids from the airport, two suitcases, and off I went to Hamilton. Again, not knowing a single person in the world. I was like, but at Hamilton, the main thing in Hamilton was I met my first mentor, my manager there, whose leadership, in those days, I don't know whether how much was there about, it is a common thing today to accept people of different races, to, accept diversity. Faye Clark, a white woman and a fantastic, warm human being. And I was basically shivering in my boots, I said, because I was put in a position where I had to manage a group of white women in their 50s who had never left Hamilton and gone out of even Hamilton, let alone New Zealand. So, and they'd been in the job for 15, 17 years. And here there was a Indian manager.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
why do you think she trusted you that much?
well, that is the bit. Faye Clark was that kind of person. She was what is a true leader, a true empath. She believed in empowering. I mean, she just took me in her wing. She realized that I had all the technical skills to do the job I was brought in for, the IT skills, but um, I didn't know how to work in New Zealand. I had absolutely no. I mean, I had some idea because I speak good English, so that was not the issue. But I didn't know the ways, New Zealand ways, that to a council ways, which is different again, quite bureaucratic. And she was that kind of person. She was a true leader. Everything we hear about true leadership, to empower people, to trust them, to not micromanage them, and to give them that confidence that no, you can do it. There's every bit of that. I mean, I stayed there in Hamilton for 9.5 years, and every day it was Faye who was leading me on. Every single.
So it was about giving you the freedom to do your job and trusting you that you can do it, and giving you the support, or were those things that made her such a great manager, such a great leader, do you believe?
Absolutely, and standing by me. So obviously you can understand in the beginning I was bullied. People, because, they said, oh, she comes from India. She has got servants at home. So maybe she's going to treat us like servants. I said, wow. In India, if there are servants, they're treated like family members. There's no question of disrespect. You never came in that kind of, that's what they assumed. And they were discussing this and somebody heard and complained to Faye. Faye just tore strips out of them. So she made them all sit down in front of me, which was so embarrassing. And everything was aired out. And after that, they became okay. The team became fine, But then it was Faye who did this. He just took the tiger by the reins and made us all sit down together. There was no, anything going behind anybody's back. Stay to each other, and it cleared the air. And after that, I worked with this team for 9 years. I managed them, and we did great stuff. But Faye was that kind. She would not accept any kind of bullying. And only thing she did, and she was such a great leader, she did a lot of work across Waikato. So she was a leader in the councils, not only in Hamilton, but she led a lot of projects. So she's that kind of inspirational leader.
Yeah. What do you think are some things that you were able to take from her and implement into into your management style when you managed people? What are some of the key things that you would say, hey, look, I did this or I acted that way because I saw that in Faye and I thought it's important?
Empathy and treating everybody in the team as human.
Mm.
So being human means you can fail, you can make mistakes,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you will not get support to stand up.
Mm.
So all my life, those are the things, absolutely, and they were my core values. But and when I saw her like this, when I saw her for 9 years, when she managed to me, every single day, I saw that, and it became a part of my management toolbox, because then I went on to do, I mean, I'm currently in a leadership position too, but all two major leadership positions after that in New Zealand, and they came with me, and just treating everybody human,
Hmm.
being fair,
Yeah.
all that thing, and being very open and honest. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that even though in a couple of places I had to do redundancies and horrible harsh things like that, but even then, just showing them the kindness,
Mm.
the humbleness, and openness, and also working as part of the team. So Faye would very happily go and work on the counter, which is a council counters where we receive
Right.
customers.
Right. Yeah.
And I learned that
Yeah.
there is no big or small job. So
Yeah.
all throughout my working life, that's one thing I always did, and that also brought the new team members to the level where they think, yeah, my manager is happy to do this, and why shouldn't I? So
Mm.
those are the fantastic qualities that I learned from Faye. It's
Yeah.
just I don't think I can function without them.
Yeah. Great. And so from Hamilton, you then moved to Tauranga to do another job and another great manager.
Yes. So when Faye, and I said this to Faye, that when she leaves Hamilton Council, I do, and she left after 9.5 years. She became unwell, unfortunately, with cancer, and she left or retired early. And then I was approached by another great manager, Jill Best, and she was director of Tauranga Libraries.
Mhm.
And Jill I had known professionally for several years. And I was very happy. So I moved baggage to Taronga, and Jill was Jill is Jill runs this program for Fiji.
Mhm.
So what she does is she gets computers, she gets books, she gets any kind of donations that she can get from New Zealand. And for years, she has been volunteering to set up libraries, sort of set up computer labs in Fiji.
Yeah.
And she and managing a very busy role in Tauranga as a director of the libraries as well. And she she actually um, seconded me from Tauranga Council to go and work in Nandi Council and set up their computer labs. So
Right.
it was fantastic. Yeah, we got all computers we could gather, and I could see, and Fiji is very hard. People are poor, council doesn't have money.
Mm.
So anything they would accept happily. But even then, Jill was fighting a battle there because there was a lot of bureaucracy. Her books, her computers would sit, not be cleared from customs. I saw her very, very patient,
Yeah.
fighting it till they were all released.
Yeah.
And there she was, in that heat. I
Mm.
didn't like Fiji. It was so hot
Yeah.
for me.
So
and,
with
and,
Jill, oh sorry,
yeah. Go.
with
Um,
Jill again, same question that I asked you about Faye. What would you say are some of the things that you saw in Jill that were maybe different from what Faye was doing, and you thought, "Wow, this is great. I can take that, and when I manage people, those are things that I will use." What would be some of them?
so Jill was different from Faye. She was very down to earth,
Mm-hmm.
very pragmatic, very patient, extremely patient,
Mm-hmm.
and also Jill had her own ideas. When I say her own ideas, she was very visionary as well. So
Mm-hmm.
she had visions that which maybe would be sometimes hard for me to accept or somebody else, but she could take you through that vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those were the things, quite different sort of tool sets. At the same time, extremely empowering and encouraging. All those things were there, but there were some additional ones where Jill would go beyond just her own work. And this is where it helped me a lot when I took my role in. So she was a very community focused person, Jill, and she would bring the community in to interact with the council much more. And the example here would be that if you remember in Tauranga, there was a big oil spill tragedy when Reena, the ship,
Yeah.
Reena ship came and helped hit the Astrolabe reef just outside Mount Maunganui in Tauranga, and it's this oil which killed and destroyed the beaches. Now, at that moment, everybody was pulled into civil service. I wasn't, because I was managing. So I was one of Jill's managers in part of her executive team. I was told to hold the hair, and I had probably only 6 months or less than 6 months in the job. And that was amazing how she got the community involved. And we set up I had to set up an online website where people could contribute, and this is still the live recording of social media in Tauranga at that time. To that, and it was Jill's, it was Jill's idea. I mean, the fascinating. She was fascinating when it comes to engagement with the community and bringing people together. Just amazing.
Yeah. Well, would you say that she was a good communicator? She was able to have her ideas, but then make people understand her and see what she's saying, what she wants to do, and therefore it was easier for people to work with her?
Absolutely. So as I said, when I use the word patience, which means she had a lot of patience to explain things through, to see things through. And I saw her this both at the council level and because it was a strict council. So there were a lot of always cutting budgets and so on, but she stood her ground and got what was needed for the community in a very nice way. She never got angry, never got upset, all that calm, patient way. And the conviction that she will get through, and same what I saw when she was doing projects in Fiji, huge amount, huge amount of patience, and again, very empathetic person. I think in leadership, what I see, Gary, I've met a lot of people in my life, where a person has empathy, where a person is really kind and humble, and both the people in my life were all of those. They can really gather people around them. They can really get the work done. They can really inspire everybody. So this is like for me, the bottom line thing which I always want to remind myself, when I'm leading people, that this is so important. As a manager, as a leader, you have to be human, and you have to treat others with that kind of humility and humanity. And only then you can lead them, and they will be so happy to follow your path then. They will be.
Yeah, fabulous. That was a very, very good point that you have made in the end, and that's, I think, a fabulous way to finish this session. Smita, I really, really appreciate your time today, and I hope you're going to be able to get out of your house soon and meet as many people as you can and have conversations with them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary.